This is my video for Independence Training's Winter Soldier match held November 24th, 2024. The match was held at Camp Savage in Flagstaff, Arizona with high winds throughout the event, over 40 miles per hour. The temperature for most of the match was in the 40s to 50s. This stage is initiated with a rocket going downrange on a string. I'm going to be engaging close-range paper targets as I move through the course here. As I come up around the corner here, there's going to be some targets on the ground representing the bodies of the enemy formation that was taken out by the RPG. I do end up getting a plus 5 second failure to neutralize penalty there for one of the targets not having enough hits on it. Shooting uphill here at a target's about 150 to 200 yards away, easily neutralize it. This stage has a moving drone silhouette that requires 2 hits from each of the fighting holes. There is some lag time when it goes behind the tires at the end there before it starts heading back in the opposite direction, so you will see me waiting to engage it at one point on the stage. All shots have to be fired from inside the fighting hole. I don't use a supported position when engaging the target. I want to be able to track it as easily as possible, and committing to the position here is not necessary for the distance and size of the target for me. The target's also not moving fast enough that you actually need to lead it. I'm holding dead center on it to make the hits. It's going to end up reaching the end of its travel just as I get into position here, so I have to wait for it to pop back out. Now there's one target up on the hill that I do take a supported position to hit. The wind is gusting pretty hard, and I end up holding off the left edge of the target to make the hits.
Jesus, fuck. Great shooting. Thank you.
This stage begins by assembling a Fuller AK on the clock. You can tell I don't assemble AKs at speed very often. Getting the dust cover locked in so that it doesn't fly off and hit me in the face was the big challenge here. The shooter does have limited ammo, and there are mandatory hits with this gun. It was equipped with iron sights only. A lot of people struggled on this stage making the hits. I do successfully get the hits on the big paper targets here, but the smaller steel targets I miss entirely and end up with 4 penalties on this portion of the stage. Not a great use of a stage gun, in my opinion. If you're going to use a stage gun, you generally want the sponsor to have the shooters have a positive experience with it. And I think just throwing a red dot on here with a 25-yard zero would have made that a lot better for most people. Another option would be to allow the shooters to make up the hits with their own gun after using the stage gun. Coming over here, there's several paper targets up the middle and a steel target on each side that I have to hit twice. Left side's no problem for me. Through the middle, again, no problem. Got to get 2 hits on each of these paper targets. But coming over to the right-hand side here, I probably should have just switched shoulders to shoot through this port. Have to kind of push myself into this area here, lean hard, actually end up moving the prop a bit, and then I make the hits. Because this is a close-range stage, I tried using my cheaper Max Tech ammo that's less accurate. And while it ran fine down in Phoenix with my gas piston setting, it decides to start short stroking on this stage up here in Flagstaff. So after this stage, I end up going back to my good Igman ammo for the rest of the match. And here's where I recognize what's going on. Strip the magazine out, clear the bad cartridges out of the way, reload with a good mag of Igman, and finish out the stage with it. Note how I hand my rifle off to my right hand to keep it downrange as I'm moving across to the next shooting area. Once I'm fully in here, I'm going to have to engage a single steel target. There's a bonus here if you hit the drone target with the dummy AK by throwing it. Unfortunately, I don't get the bonus. The shooter started the stage with the muzzle down in condition 3 start, then chambers when they turn around to face the paper targets, not knowing which paper targets will be set. After engaging the steel up the hill, the shooter has to run up the hill to the fighting hole and get into the bunker all the way to hit the steel target across the gully. Target here is probably about 125 yards away. I have to get my hand under the forearm to get enough elevation to shoot up at it, but once I accommodate for the wind, make the hits easily. Trench stages are always fun. There's going to be paper targets scattered throughout the trench and some long-range steel that I have to engage from several points throughout the trench. The targets here are small enough and far enough that it's worth taking a supported position to make the hits. Even though I'm in the trench, I'm doing my best to keep the muzzle downrange relative to the trench as I'm moving throughout it. 2 more paper targets there. Take another supported position and re-engage the same 2 steel targets. Going underneath this pallet support, there's a box I have to drop a radio in. Fortunately, the invert bandolier retained it easily throughout the stage, and I didn't have to fumble around with it in a pocket. And that was Independence Training's Winter Soldier 2024. Sorry I don't have stage-by-stage results because this was not on practice score, but I did end up placing first in limited heavy. There were 13 shooters in this division shooting 7.62x39 AKs with red dots or iron sights. In the overalls, I was 7th out of 77 shooters. Truly a glorious victory for me and the Warhammer 40 AK, bringing glory to the Omnissiah and the Adeptus Mechanicus. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of in-depth action competition shooting analysis, please consider supporting me directly on Patreon. And always remember, the Second Amendment is for everyone.